So we have had the Destined Rivals launch. It is now fully out there. Product seems to be pretty successful, to be honest. I've managed to pick up an ETB, open a few packs, and in general enjoyed the set. It's quite nice to be able to get the product, and to be honest, even from the release dates, there was quite a few people that were standing in a queue. But really, to be fair, a lot of Smith's stores I've heard have had plenty of stock, to be honest. It's going to be interesting to see over the next few days if they still have that stock, or at least a certain amount, because there is definitely still some people that you can see buying as much as they can. Obviously, Smiths has had a limit on everything. 1 ETB per customer, 1 blister, 5 packs, whereas if you go to your local newsagents, obviously they're not aware of all of this. They just wonder, okay, someone buys the whole box of the booster box that they've got rather than individual packs. They don't know, and to be honest, they don't really care. They are there to just sell whatever they can get their hands on. So it is always interesting to see where the product lines up. Journey Together seem to be in a constant demand and a constant, almost constant supply as well. My local kind of news agents managed to get Journey Together in every other week. Like, there was at least 2 half-a-sleeve booster boxes every single time, and it's not necessarily a busy news agents to say the least, but most definitely if you've got people that are rifling through everything, you'd imagine it to go pretty quickly. Now obviously when it comes to the big stores, it will be interesting, like I say, to see how many packs they do have over the course of the next few days, but we will kind of bridge that gap as we get to it. Now, when it comes to what do you do with this, because we've kind of gone over prior to this set coming out, do you open it? Do you keep it sealed? Do you invest in it? Do you do all of this? And honestly, in terms of the set itself, I feel like it's going to be another one like Journey Together that we will see some dips in the market as such. If we do go over to TCG Player, obviously Destined Rivals is going to be everywhere. I would suggest definitely keeping one eye on the next promo, because that is going to be very interesting to see, like we've seen with tag teams, with megas, with obviously the white, the black and white. It's going to be interesting to see the future products of them. That's something to definitely just keep your eye on in general. When it comes to this product, I think when we do look at kind of a lot of these, I would suggest if we go from high to low, if we do, in fact, can we just go cards to start with? Just looking at the kind of natural prices we've got at the moment. Obviously, I can't put it in pounds. It's going to have to be in dollars. Mewtwo's going to be the #1 shout here. We're going to then see Garchomp, Ho-Oh, Moltres, Nidoking, which I'm surprised is still up there. I can see him dropping a considerable amount depending on pack weight. Crobat's there. Pre-release staff is fine, but we've got the Team Rocket's Gold, Aether's Adventure. That's the card that I've managed to pull. Looks beautiful. That was kind of one of the better trainer cards we've seen so far. Obviously, the Misty's Psyduck and Gyarados has got to be up here. My personal chase in the Ethan's Typhlosion. Now, he's going to be a great one because the artwork in itself is mwah. It is perfect. That, for me personally, I love a Typhlosion. Neo is my set, and Typhlosion in that was kind of the guy. This is a stunner. Now, when you do look at the kind of price points, it's first day, so very interesting to see. We'll kind of come back in a week and also then in a month's time to see where this is kind of holding out. But you can already see it is dropping a considerable amount. Now, like I say, when it comes to a set like this, the best kind of way that you can kind of look at it is by going into something like a Journey Together. I feel like they are both very kind of interesting sets to see. I haven't seen anything on pull rates yet, so I can't really kind of almost say that the pull rates are going to be better or worse, because naturally I don't know at this point. But when we do look at something like the Chase of Lily's Clefairy, when we look at kind of, when we go for the 3 months, you can kind of see at the top it was at a 330. It looked like it was going to be about a 250 card in pounds, but we knew that that was going to drop considerably. In the first week alone, or first couple of weeks, we dropped down $100 in general from launch, and you can kind of see now as we go into the month, we're starting to plateau a little bit. We're not necessarily going fully kind of across, but we're definitely getting a bit more now in the steady terms, and you can see that there is definitely a lot less sales coming at this point. We had a big spike on the 51. You can imagine a lot of people are kind of buying it at certain points, and it might have been that this was kind of the spike point which kind of raised it up a little bit, and then it did drop a bit more. Obviously, being the kind of chase card, it's always going to have a little bit more pull in the market as such. If we was to go for something like the Articuno, I feel like that was considered one of the better kind of art rares. It's very interesting to see again because it is absolutely on the floor at the moment. We're looking at this, and this was coming in at probably what, a 20 to 30 pound illustration. We saw it coming in, and in terms of pounds that was at 56 to start with, and again you can see the massive drop off. I feel like Destined Rivals will have the exact same with this as well. You can see it now kind of floating in that 20 sort of zone. To be honest, I think in terms of pound, we probably could see this at 10 to 15 at the minimum, I would say, or maximum in fact. I would say that that is kind of where this card is. To be honest, that is too low for a card like this. I think this personally is, if I was to grade it in comparison to what I'm thinking of all the other sets that we've had over the course, and this to be just an illustration rare, because that will have an effect on the card, I personally would grade this as kind of a very high tier illustration rare. It's a great art design, it's a very favored Pokemon, it's got nice colors, the actual card itself is a stunning design, especially in person. It's great to look at it on a screen, it's good to look at it on video, but until you hold it into your hands, you don't get the perspective of what a card looks like. It is a beautiful artwork. Now obviously you have got counterparts of Japanese that's even cheaper, again whether you'd prefer to go with that. If you are just looking at collecting, that is fine, but for me this is a considerably good investment kind of point of view with a card. In my opinion, it's one of the better ones, I would suggest. When we look at kind of like the lower side of the Volcanion, we saw this coming in kind of like what the Crobat's coming in at the moment. It was a considerably low card, and to be honest, again, the card itself is a stunner. It's a very, very nice card. It may not be the favored Pokemon, it may not even be the favored design of an SAR in this set, but in terms of kind of an actual SAR, it's a great card. It's a nice looking card. The color design matches. The landscape of it is beautiful, and it's affordable. That's kind of the big thing. It came in at the bottom end of, I saw it come in for £30. That is so cheap for one of these SARs in this hype market. Maybe in 3 years time when Pokemon is at the all-time low, for instance, if that was the case, maybe it comes in at 10-20 because the market price of everything has dropped. But in general, at this market, it's a very considerably affordable card. So you are kind of seeing cards like this that are kind of sitting along this sort of line. You're looking between the $37 to $41, and if you go for the month, this is kind of more of your plateau. You're finding certain times where it does drop a little bit, but really it's kind of staying within a $2 budget as such. So I would say that would be where I'd be looking at a card like this. Crobat will probably do very similar actions. It seems to be the lower cards are dropping even more, and then they plateau a little bit easier. Whereas you look at something like a Salamence, for me personally, I don't think it looks that great of a card. It's a definite favourite Pokemon, that's fine, but in terms of the card itself, there's nothing crazy on it. Like it's just a standard card. I don't think I would have this plateauing at 90. I think this is a considerably lower choice when we look at what we've got in this set as well. Lily's Clefairy, love the colour design. It's got a trainer. It's a beautiful card design. I would go that as to be a fan favourite. Zoroark, I really like. Could be a better design. I'm not gonna lie. I think you could have more of a feature on the Pokemon. I think N is featuring a bit too much in it, if I'm being really picky. I love Belly Bolt. I think that is a perfect design. This is a cracker. It's absolutely brilliant. Belly Bolt, full and center. He's a loving Pokemon. Iono, don't know too much of the history or the lore behind her, but I know she is a fan favorite of a lot of the anime, which makes sense. I would have her going in as the first or second slot, and we kind of saw that card shoot up a little bit and start to drop down in accordance. It was an interesting one to say the least. Obviously, shoot up, when I mean that, it was kind of pre-release. We saw it just absolutely go up to the moon, and then it started to drop pretty quickly, but definitely a lot less of a drop, a less steep drop than we have seen in the past. And as you can see, we're still dropping a considerable amount, but it is kind of relative to the fact that it was that high up there in general. Then, if you're kind of looking through a few more, obviously the golds, I mean, to be honest, they seem like they've kind of kept their price, to be fair. Like they are coming down in a good fortune there, but they do seem to have held a solid price. Like if you look at the 3 months, this is only 46 down 20. It's not like it's down 100. It makes it look a lot worse than what it is. So when you kind of look at this and think, okay, well, I'm looking at the price points now across the board. I'm thinking, what's the lowest kind of illustration? We're seeing kind of like a Furret coming down, Kilowattrel's coming down to the 5, Wooloo again, another stunning art design coming in at $4.46 in market price, $10 at the minute. It's a crazy low, and you can kind of see $3, $2. Now, the big thing is Journey Together was a smaller set, and it was a lot easier to get a good amount of pull rate. Whether we do see the same in Destined Rivals is going to be an interesting one. I can imagine there is a lot more pull rate data coming out in the next day or two. I can imagine a lot of people have opened up quite a lot of products, so we will see this. But when you do look at the products and think, well, okay, so we saw Clefairy at 130. Granted, I think Mewtwo definitely is. It's a more viable card. I think it would have been a lot better if it was Giovanni's Mewtwo, in my opinion. Cynthia's Garchomp is going to do quite well. Ethan's Ho-Oh. Again, maybe a Rockets Moltres, a Giovanni, a Jesse and James Moltres. You know what I mean? Instead of it just being Team Rockets, could have been interesting. The Nidoking, I feel like, will drop a considerable amount. I do think the Crobat will as well, and possibly even the Golds. I don't think they have that weight anymore, in my opinion. There is a few nice trainers, I must admit. I do like the Team Rockets Giovanni. I do love the Ethan's Adventure. I personally think the 96 is a considerable kind of low ball for what this card should be worth, in my opinion, especially when you do look at it if it did have that rarity. Mr. Psyduck will be kind of like the Articuno. It's seen as the kind of holy grail of the illustration rare, and it will drop. It's bound to. Like there's no way that it doesn't. Yan Mega as well, another one being, I think that is an SAR. That's going to be the cheapest by a landslide. I could see that coming in at $10. Like genuinely, that one for me is just, it's a pointless one in terms of what we're seeing here. You've obviously got Mabostiff. He's SAR as well. He is, to be honest, I even forgot about him. He could be a little bit better, to be fair. Judging from artwork, the only thing that might kind of have him not be up there, in my opinion, might be the fact that, do you really care about that Pokemon? That's kind of what it really comes down to. Again, some of the golds I really like. Obviously, the Ethan's Typhlosion is going to be one of my personal favorites, but that's going to be purely Typhlosion. One that I would look at when it comes down even more, that Meowth is outrageously good. If that goes down to like the 5 mark, I would buy every single one of them because it's just beautiful. Same with the Lapras, it will drop down. A lot of these will, like Shaman. It's not a $30 card. It's why I would always say when buying singles, when buying products for profit, you can't be buying cards this early on into the market. You just know that Shaman is not going to be $30. You could argue a Roserade if you wanted to be first with it, but even then, I don't think it's going to be worth it that much, in my opinion. You go further down, the Houndoom is going to be ecstatic. Like, that comes down to the 10-15 mark. Again, it's going to be incredible. I love the Kangaskhan design. I'm a big fan of the kind of full arts. I think they are brilliant with the team trainers. But again, whether you think that's worth you actually picking up is a completely different kind of point of view. Ethan's Adventure, I'm a big fan of, just purely on the actual trainer itself being full frontal. Kind of like how we've got the Team Rockets Giovanni, Petrol as well. Hydrapple, I could see that dropping down massively. Quite like the Persian, it's not going to be a fan favourite. The colour scheme don't work for me. Weezin's nice, and as you go further down, Rapidash I think is a beautiful design for a Rapidash collector, but in general it's going to be a lower ball in my opinion. Same with the Murkrow and probably even Spidops. It's going to be another one that might be dropped. You can see Rotom's going to be that $2 card quite easily. You're going to see a lot of trainers that are going to be around that as well. And I believe that's going to be a lot of them. Zamazenta, I'm surprised, is not a little bit more. But to be fair, I'm not really kind of surprised. It's too far away. I've managed to pat this card and it's not focused. Like, you need him a little bit more in the picture. If the rock was down a bit more, it kind of would give him a bit more of a central theme, in my opinion. And then you've kind of got the Orbeetle and Clampo. You go into random Pokemon. Like, Electrike's nice, but it's going to be just a little pickup. It's not going to be a full focus. And then you've kind of got your Regirocks, your kind of full art cards, which are standard, but they will, again, be hitting that $1 to $2 mark. So I do think this is going to be another set that will drop massively. By the looks of the kind of stock, I feel like you just want to be waiting out and don't necessarily go too crazy with it. But that's going to be kind of my first looks in Destined Rivals. It's been a nice set. It's nice to actually get product again, but we are going to go into that black and white season. And again, it more than likely is going to be scarce. So get your fun out of Rockets. Get preparing for black and white, and we'll kind of bring some more videos out over the coming weeks of kind of where to really go for the next step of Pokemon in 2025. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe though, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Peace.